So the next part is our, I'm going to talk to you about Marsha P. Johnson. Marsha P. No Mind Johnson. And yes, please hit that. Thank you. Marsha P. No Mind Johnson was a black trans woman who was the queen mother of the movements for queer and trans liberation. And she was a performer, she was an organizer, she was HIV positive, she was a sex worker, and she stood up and she fought back against all of the horrible crimes against our community and against her community. With Sylvia Rivera, Marsha P. Johnson had founded STAR, which was Street Transvestite, it's on the phone. Action Revolutionaries. There it is. Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries. It's on there somewhere. And that was, STAR's main purpose was to get folks off the street, specifically gay, queer, trans folks. They wanted to make sure that all their folks who were on the street in New York had a place because they believed everyone had a place. Marsha P. Johnson also joined the Gay Liberation Front. She would protest with them, fighting against both groups that claimed to be for queer people and groups that were outright against queer people. What you may know Marsha P. Johnson for, and what she's considered famous for, what she's remembered for, is throwing the first brick at the Stonewall Riots in 1969. Marsha P. Johnson has always denied that she was the first person to throw the brick. And this is really important. First, it's important because a lot of times we choose to remember black trans women by making myths out of them. We want to make myths out of black women, we want to make myths out of trans women of color, and we want to make myths out of black trans women. We need a reason to remember them. What their actual legacy was doesn't always feel good enough to us, so we create these ideas of who they were, rather than looking at the work they actually did. And Marsha P. Johnson did a lot of work, besides just throwing a brick. But we often don't remember that. And so that's the first reason. The second reason is Marsha P. Johnson says in her own words that by the time she showed up, the riots had already started. She said the police had already set the bar on fire and people were already going, she just joined in. And I think that's important because she didn't fight for recognition. She was fighting because there was a fight that needed to be had. We don't need to fight to be first, we need to fight to be free. And I think especially in this day and age where we're hearing about all these different firsts, right? There's this idea that that means that there's progress. But Marsha P. Johnson understood that there was no progress unless we were actively fighting every single day, unless we were looking out for our family, unless we were looking out for the folks on the street, unless we were looking out for the folks in our homes, unless we were looking out for the folks we didn't even know. And so, in order to truly honor her memory, it can't just be, well, a black trans woman threw the first brick at Stonewall. Because that's not, she was so much more than that. And as long as we only remember Marsha P. Johnson for that, we're never actually paying her the honor she deserves for helping truly create a movement of love and of safety and of care for all trans people and all queer people. So that's all I have to say about Marsha P. No Mind Johnson. In 2018, I believe it's either 2018 or 2019, Reina Gossett, who is a black trans artist, creator, and activist, is developing a film called Happy Birthday Marsha, and so that will be released, I believe 2018 or 2019, so look out for that. The most recent documentary that came out about Marsha P. Johnson stole Reina Gossett's work, so don't give that any money. Yeah, unfortunately. But please do look out for the work from black trans people about our ancestors, and please give that the credit that's due.